I'm Julio Cruz, and I am the executive pastor at Trinity Church of Lake Nona. And my job is to help leaders be successful, to find people that want to use their gifts and help them use those gifts and to empower them. I also take care of the administrative part of the church. Since the beginning of our church, we have been intentional about ministering to kids, and we live in a community where we have a lot of young parents with kids. So as you can imagine, our church has many kids. So the church meets at Lariat Park Elementary, and while the adults are in the cafeteria, the kids are divided into different classrooms by grade, and they go to the portables outside. In there, they are taught principles, and our desire is that they would be our trees that are planted in truth. So at this point, we don't have other events that are outside of the Sunday morning church. There are some times when we do special things for the kids during the Sunday morning. For example, Christmas or Easter, and the middle school students will in the future very soon start doing some events during the week and not only on Sunday morning. But it's our goal that we will continue to provide opportunities for kids to be able to engage and be part of a community of friends in a different context beyond the church on Sunday morning. So when parents arrive to Trinity, they first will check in their kids and then take them to their classrooms, and then in their classrooms the teachers will receive them and they start doing different activities. Sometimes it's games, sometimes it's crafts, and there's teaching. Every classroom has a screen, so the students are able to sometimes watch some videos that are teaching them principles, and after that they spend the whole hour there. When the main service is over, then parents come and they pick them up, are able to go home with their parents.
Okay, my name is Joe. I am the worship director at the church, really just part of the worship team. We're not too formal with our titles. Before COVID, we did not have any sort of live stream or digital presence really, besides a website and a Facebook page. So when COVID hit, very quickly we had to move to digital services. So we were kept out of the school entirely. So shortly after COVID began, we started recording songs on GarageBand. And then before we started, we were lip syncing along, and we filmed ourselves and then put the audio and video together, and we sent that on. And then Pastor Ben would preach his sermon separately, and he would put it all together and try to drop in a little bit of graphics to pretty it up. And then that's how we were meeting as a church for probably about a year. And then we were able to get back into the school in sort of a limited capacity. And then we began live streaming for people that weren't able to be back in church. There was a time where we actually had both. We had a digital service, we had a live stream, and then for those that could come, we met in person. So that's how COVID kind of shook things up for us. But yeah, really the worship team is kind of the mouthpiece and kind of guides the service. For me, being on staff, helping to craft the services, helping to write liturgy, pick the songs each week, I've just been able to grow so much in my own faith at Trinity as I help on the worship team and craft these services and lead every Sunday morning. So that's just really endeared Trinity to me for that opportunity that it's given me and the way that I've been able to grow in my faith while I've been there. But then also our congregation is incredible, and I love the people there. There's not any other place I would want to be on a Sunday morning. I love that Trinity is contemporary. It's like got a modern worship style, modern approach, but we do have this more traditional format. So just that format of service.
My name's Eli Garrett. I am the media director at Trinity Church of Lake Nona. I help operate all the technical aspects of services. That includes live sound and sound reinforcement, and all the video and streaming aspects of a service, including slide projection, video playback, and live streaming to YouTube for our remote audience. When COVID happened, the church kind of went completely remote because we were no longer allowed to meet in person, and we kind of lost the ability to meet in schools. So we were remote for about a year. We did what we could to gather small contingents of our worship team together to go ahead and very quickly produce pre-recorded worship sets so that we could splice those together with the message that Ben would put together every week, so we could have some kind of service that we moved to YouTube. This was the first time we'd ever considered going to online streaming, which was something we did really quickly. The church definitely shrunk a lot during the COVID period, and we're doing that for about a year. About a year later, after COVID started, Ben and Cynthia decided it was about time that we started meeting in person, and the schools were starting to become open to the idea of renting their facilities again. So in December of 2019, we gathered to get a small group of us together at the schools and started running test services to kind of figure out like what would it mean to run service with a group of people in the room while still keeping people distant and trying to make people as comfortable as possible. We decided to offer 2 locations for the services, one inside like we normally would, and just kind kind of space people out. And then the second one, we would run a live stream down the hall outside so that people could stay outside and watch the services. We have all the microphones on the stage that we would use for sound reinforcement in the room. We run back to the console, we mix them for sound reinforcement in the room, and we take a split off of that feed to go into our live streaming that goes out to YouTube for our audience to hear. Married up with video at the video switcher, which is, we have 2 PTZ cameras that are on big stands in the back of the room that we move around to kind of give the illusion that we have multiple cameras in the space and give closer shots of people on stage that we blend together, and then marry that audio and video together, bring it through our streaming application, and send out to YouTube for our remote audience to see.